I can still see that moment clearly. The flicker of candlelight, the clink of cutlery, and her calm, detached expression. She said it so smoothly, it almost sounded rehearsed. "I'm leaving you for my ex." Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't waver. She said it as if she were announcing a dinner choice, not the end of an 11-year marriage. For a brief second, I thought she was joking. We had built a life together. A house that held our laughter, memories layered through years of love and effort. But when I looked into her eyes, I saw no trace of doubt, no apology, just certainty. I didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't even ask why. I just said, "All right." That single word seemed to throw her off balance. She blinked, confused, almost offended by my calm. Maybe she had expected drama, tears, pleading, maybe even rage. She'd braced herself for guilt. But instead, I gave her composure, and that scared her more than a breakdown ever could. "That's it? You're not going to say anything?" she asked, irritation creeping into her tone. "What's left to say, Anna? If you've already chosen him, then there's nothing left to discuss." I replied evenly. She frowned, twisting the stem of her wine glass. "This isn't about you, Mark. I just want to be happy." "I truly hope you find that," I said quietly. She stood, grabbed her bag, and walked out. The sound of the door closing echoed through the house like a final verdict. I sat there, staring at her half-empty wine glass. I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I just sat in the silence she'd left behind. The scent of her perfume still in the air, the framed pictures staring back at me like witnesses to something broken. But under the calm, something inside me shifted. For years, I had molded myself into the man she wanted. I kept the peace, compromised too much, carried the weight of a love that wasn't being returned. Her leaving wasn't a tragedy. It was a release, one I'd been too afraid to demand. Before I went to bed that night, I opened my laptop and wrote to my lawyer. I wasn't going to fight over what didn't matter, but I also wasn't going to let her take what I'd built alone. For the first time in years, I acted from self-respect, not emotion. The next morning, the world felt strangely peaceful. I made coffee, watched the sunrise, and realized how quiet the house felt without tension hanging in the air. Around mid-morning, my phone rang. "This is Richard Collins," said a man's voice. "Mrs. Porter's attorney. We'd like to discuss the separation terms." "Of course," I said calmly. He paused, probably expecting anger or bitterness. "She's requesting ownership of the house and half your savings," he continued. I actually laughed. "You might want to review your files, Mr. Collins. The house was purchased and paid for before our marriage. It's in my name only. And the joint accounts? Closed. A month ago." The silence on the other end was priceless. "I'll have my lawyer contact you," I added politely before hanging up. I could almost picture Anna's face when she found out. I didn't need revenge. I just wanted her to understand what happens when you underestimate someone who's stopped caring. An hour later, she texted me. "What did you do?" I replied, what I should have done years ago. Protected myself. No answer came. But that evening, my lawyer called, amused. "Mark, you rattled them both. She and her attorney didn't expect you to be this calm." "That calm," I said, "is what she never saw coming." For once, I was done being her emotional punching bag. I wasn't angry. I was free. 2 days later, she showed up unannounced. Her confidence was gone. She looked smaller somehow, fragile. Standing in the doorway, she said softly, "Can we talk?" I let her in. She glanced around the living room, her eyes pausing on the bare walls where our photos used to hang. I'd taken them down the morning after she left, not out of hate, but to clear the ghosts. "I didn't expect you to act like this," she said finally. "How did you expect me to act?" I asked. "Beg you to stay?" "Promise to change." Her lips quivered. "I thought you'd care more." "I did care," I said, "for years, but you stopped noticing." She sighed. "David said you'd make this difficult, that you'd turn bitter." I smiled faintly. "He doesn't know me." There was a long silence, and then she said, "Richard told me about the accounts, the house. You planned this." "I planned to protect myself. I replied simply, "You made your choice. I just made mine." Her eyes filled with tears. "I thought leaving would make me happy, but it's not what I imagined. David isn't who I remembered." I nodded slowly. "Anna, you didn't lose me because you loved someone else. You lost me because you stopped valuing loyalty." Her voice broke. "Can we start over?" I didn't hesitate. "No, I'm done living in circles. You made your choice." She swallowed hard, then whispered, "You've changed." "Maybe," I said, standing up, "or maybe I just stopped letting you break me piece by piece." When she left, I felt no bitterness, only clarity. She had walked in expecting guilt, expecting control. She walked out realizing she had none. The next morning, my lawyer called again, laughing. "You'll enjoy this. Her lawyer just quit. Said he's tired of her drama." I smiled, looking out at the morning light filtering through the window. Guess I'm not the only one finally free.